Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Fix That Image with Mike. So today we've got this Moore's Recovery and Transport from Tiffany, and we've got a really cool looking image. It's got some problems. It's cut off on the side, and it's suffered a bit from JPEG artifacts, just from being moved around on the web and not shared through a Google Drive. You can really see the compression artifacts along here. And thanks to Angela Davis, we actually have a better version of the image right here. It's definitely cleaned up. I still see those JPEG artifacts because it wasn't shared through a Google Drive, but that's something that we can actually take care of in upscale. So we're going to get started and we're going to make this work. I think this is ready to go. So we've just downloaded the image and we're going to rename it. So we're going to call it Moore's Recovery OG. And, we're going to put it in a folder. So let's just go ahead and take that name. I'm going to hit rename, copy it, Control-Shift-N. Let's make a new folder. Let's rename that because I missed my opportunity. And hit enter. And then we'll just take this and we'll put this in that folder. We'll make another folder inside that and we'll call it Concept. And we'll put that file in there. Okay? And then we'll make another folder and we'll call it Pieces. It's just showing you how to kind of stay organized. All right, let's take this. We're going to open this up with Adobe Photoshop. I know I used to show you all stuff in Photopea. I have just since decided there is just no sense really in using Photopea. I mean, it's fine. I'm not knocking the Photopea. It's wonderful for a free program. But, when we're dealing with this as a business, we should afford Photoshop. We should just go ahead and get Photoshop. All right, so I'm going to do File, Export. We're going to quick export this as PNG. Once something's in our possession, we keep it as a PNG forever. I'm just going to put that back in the concept. And I'm going to give ChatGPT Pro a chance to improve this artwork. We're just going to give it a chance. Okay, so we're going to recreate and redraw this artwork from the concept art provided, enhance every aspect of the design, focus on the textures, and give us a crisp and clean, print-ready, production-quality version of this design, isolate on white. We're going to tell it to create image. And there's a little bug when we're using Pro. We've got to do 5.4 Pro right now, just for now. All right, so we're going to get that going. We're going to copy that prompt. We're going to go to Gemini, and we are going to paste that. And we're going to copy this image, and we're going to paste it, and we're just going to choose Create Image, and we're going to let it go on Pro as well. So we'll just get our two competing AIs here. I'm trying to get this to lock to the side. Let me try it here. And we're going to get those going and let them run. Okay, here's Gemini's version, which I actually love. I think it's way too different from the original. But, that's one of those things when you're doing this work yourself, you can decide, okay, that's great. Because, this is a superior image. I love that it's got, this border around. I really like Gemini's version, but I'm probably not going to go with it because it's altered it way too much from the original. And the client may be upset. And here's Chat's version. So, definitely a lot closer to the original. Let's go ahead and download it. Let's compare it to the original because that's what we got to do. When we're up against something like this, we want to make sure that we compare it. So we're going to just grab that. Let's go to our downloads. Let's compare that. All right, we'll drag this over here. So on the left-hand side, we have the probably generated with not Pro version. And on the right-hand side, we have the Pro version. And, we can see that it's added some details along here. We still got the two border thing going on, which is cool. I really like the fact that it's actually altered this border to be a lighter color. Everything looks sharper. I feel like the details are better. Let's look down here at these wrenches. We've got a lot sharper stars. Yeah, it's just added detail and enhanced it. It hasn't really messed with the original. It's kind of brought in this color which I think is going to be okay. You just have to make decisions. But, the artwork in general is just way better. Like, let's look at this chain right here and look at that chain there. Gosh, what an improvement. Let's look at this car. Here's an exhaust pipe. That's a thing. Here's a wheel. That's a thing. So I think that if making the decision for my customer here, I would just go ahead and go with this one on the right. Let's look at the skyline in the back and look at the skyline over here. So big improvement just using Pro. Yeah, look at this light rack on top of the truck. Look at that. I still really dislike this design overall because, it doesn't look like that is actually towing that car. But that's what we got given. So that's what we're going to go with, So let's go with this one on the right and just making that executive decision to do that. So I'm going to move that into pieces here. We're going to pop open upscale. We're going to select our image. We're going to go into pieces. And I've called this one Moore's Recovery Improved. We're going to open that up. And we just want to go bigger than we need. So I'm going to go 5016 and hit upscale on that. Okay, so we have the upscaled version of our file, and we're not going to see really any changes there. We just have a larger image, and that's what's important. And so here's the upscaled one. I'm just going to delete this improved one and rename this because there's no need to keep that smaller version. This is just a better version all the way around. And we're going to open that up with Photoshop. Okay. Now I've had some other things open, so I'm just going to go ahead and close others. I'm looking to see if there's anything cut off in this version. It doesn't look like it. And we're going to go ahead and take this background off. So we're just going to unlock it. So that's just unlocked the previously locked image. And we're just going to have our magic wand. We're going to check contiguous. And we're going to select around this outside. And I'm going to push in, select, modify, expand just 1 pixel. And that's going to get us in just around the outside all the way. So see, it's just inside. We're cutting a little bit of it off, but it's making sure we don't have any white outline. All right, and right there, at this moment, we're ready to print it if we want to have a big sticker. And so I am going to actually just trim this and hit OK. And then I'm going to do image size. And so we're going to have a big sticker because of the way this design is. But I'm going to, basically do what I think the customer might want. And we've talked about it. So I know I'm going to halftone this as well. I'm going to put this to 4,500 pixels wide and 300 resolution and hit OK. And this is going to be like the original, so I'm going to put this not in the concept. I'm going to put it right here. Moore's Recovery. I'm going to call it original, and I'm going to say 4500 px, and this is RTP because you could print this right now, and you could take this size and you could actually scale it down to whatever size you actually wanted to print it at. You can resize this version of the image and print it how you like, but it's going to feel awful because it's just going to be a big sticker on the chest. It's going to be hot and heavy. You're going to be sweating underneath it. And it's stuff like this that gives DTF a bad name. Like DTF is a superior decoration technique. It's just not going to feel good if you actually printed something like this. So that's when we're going to introduce the magic that is halftoning. So we've got the Crystal DTF knockout actions, and these are free, and you can just download them, go to the Facebook group, and they're pinned at the top in the featured section. And we're just going to hit the black knockout tweakable. Okay, and that brings us to this screen. And I'm just going to hit OK and accept them. We're at 14,124. Let's just remember that. And what it's going to do is, in my opinion, take too much away. So it's set really aggressively. Look how soft that's going to be. And this will be the softest version of this right here. But it's a little aggressive. And for people that are not familiar with halftoning, they could get upset seeing this because they're like, why has it got all those dots? That's what I've heard before. This is great, though. It's a great result. But it's got dots. And I mean, viewed at a distance, you're not going to notice it. But if you get up close, which people like to do when they first get their prints, they're going to see all these dots and maybe be confused by it. Okay. So let's try a different way. Let's try a different technique. We're just going to, same technique. We're just going to change some settings. Okay. So I'm just going to hit F12 and that's going to revert us. Okay. Oops. My bad, guys. Look, I made a mistake there. I'm actually not going to revert from this image and I'm not even going to halftone from that image. I'm going to come here and open this one up so that I can revert easily and not have to take the background back off. So let's just take this one and we're going to do the same thing. This is a 15-inch, and once this halftone is performed, you can't resize it. I'm going to save just a little bit on this side, and I'm looking at the histogram. That's going to take most of that black off, and I'm just going to save some of these areas. So as I make this whiter, as I pull this slider this way, that's showing the parts that it's going to protect more. And I can really go pretty aggressive on this. I'm going to do 10 and 75 and hit OK. And I think that's probably what we're going to go with for our final. So I'm just going to do solid color. Still has knocked out a ton. It's going to be so soft in comparison. And I'm just going to pull that down. And this is the result we're going to get. Still got dots, but there's less, so it's just going to preserve more of the design. And that shows you how much actual ink there's going to be. You can even see it more extreme, like against the white. There's just hardly any ink now. And that's going to be a great feeling t-shirt, okay? So I'm going to check my image size just in case it's changed. It's gone down a little bit. So I'm going to do File, Export. Let's switch this over to image size and look at it in inches so I can represent it properly. So this is a 14.8 by 14.8 for all intents and purposes. So I'm just going to File, Export this. And I'm going to name it Halftoned 14.8 by 14.8. I'm just going to do the width, 14.8 inches wide, and we'll save that. Now I'm just going to hit F12 to revert the image, and I'm going to adjust the size. So we're going to do image size, and we'll go down to a 12-inch. We'll hit OK. And this is why it's really important to tell us the exact widths you want it. If somebody else is doing the work for you, they have no idea. You can't resize these. So I'm going to give several variations, but each time I'm going to do that 1075 so that they're all consistent. And then I don't need to check it against black anymore. We already did that. So I'm going to export that. So I'm going to call this a 12-inch. And then I'll save that. And then I'm going to do one more size. We'll F12. We'll do image size. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to do a 10-inch. Okay? And then we'll hit that same black knockout tweakable. We're going to do 10 and 75 and hit OK. And then we'll export that one. And we're going to call that halftoned 10. All right, so there's our sizes. Oh, I should have probably taken that 4500 px off each one because it's not anymore. So I'm just going to save that. And I just noticed that I had some typos here, so I'm just going to fix up my problems. We'll rename these. Okay, so we got everything renamed properly. And I'm in my customer service folder, and I'm just going to search for Tiffany Jackson. I don't know that we've ever done an image for her before. I would have named it Tiffany Jackson with a underscore, and I don't see that coming up, so we're going to do a new folder. It's really important that we do it this way across the organization. Everybody needs to do it just like this. I'm talking to my team here, because if we don't, we're just going to end up with multiple folders, and we're going to run into a point where people have the same name. But that's okay. For the most part, if we use the first and last name, and I'll use the middle name too, if I get a chance, So we're going to put that right here. And I'm just going to take this whole folder. So I'm just going to grab the whole folder here that I've created and upload that. And this is already shared. You know, I'm doing this to teach people about Google Drive. It's shared with anyone with a link, okay? And I'm just going to take this link to this folder, share, copy link, and I'm going to paste that back up in Facebook. So this is done for all intents and purposes. I'm now actually going to show her what I've done, that it is half-toned. And so, you know, feel free to stop watching the video at this point, unless you want to see how I prepare the image to, you know, show back as far as a preview. Okay, so I'm just going to take this last version of the image and I'm going to reduce the image size just a little bit. Let's go 6 inches. I'm going to hit OK. So this is not for print. This is for preview. And I'm going to put a solid color of black behind it. And then I'm just going to increase the canvas size just a little bit. I'm going to go 100 pixels and 100 pixels and hit OK. So there's just a little bit of canvas size around it. And then I'm going to export this and put it right in that folder. Why not? And I'm going to call this preview. And hit OK. And then I'm going to change this to white. And that's going to show off the ink. Okay, so we'll export that. And I'm going to call this preview white. And then I'm going to change to navy. So she mentioned using a navy. And I'll be honest, I struggle with like the color of navy. I mean, I think to me, this is a navy. I prefer a dark navy, you know, maybe. But, you know, this is a navy. It's all arguable what navy is. So some people, navy blue is almost like a really bright blue, you know. So I'm just going to take this, and then I'm going to do my canvas size, and I'm going to lock it over here, and its width is 1900 pixels, so I'm going to go 3800 pixels over in this direction. And then I'm just going to I'm going to make sure I'm centered up and that the whole document's visible. And I'm just going to go to that folder and I'm going to drag in that preview white and hit enter. So I know that that locked into the middle. And then I'm going to drag in that preview and hit enter. So now we've got what's it look like on navy, what's it look like on white, what's it look like on black. And then we're just going to file export that. And I'm actually going to delete this preview white and just save that as the preview. Okay, and I'm going to put that right back in that folder because why not just have the preview so everybody can see it. And then I'm going to go back here to Facebook and I should have that draft folder still linked. So I'm just going to tag her. So we want to say @Tiffany. There she is. We're friends. Here's the link to the folder where your finished artwork resides. So we made some changes. Oh, my space bar is sticking, guys. You know, here's your link where your finished artwork resides. Boom, and there's the link. So we made some changes and regenerated the design. Please triple check the details. You know, like the phone number and web address. I provided an original size that is half-toned. No, an original size that original version that can be resized. And 3 sizes of half-toned design. So even though I think I asked her to tell us, my customer's a 4XL, so I don't know if she's gonna, you know, just put it on one 4XL. Hopefully she has more sizes than that. But I mean, you know, it's a lot of work to do for one image, one transfer. But I provided an original version that can be resized and 3 sizes of half-tone design at 10-inch, 12-inch, and 15-inch. I mean, I like a big design. I would put the 15-inch. I would put the 15-inch on an extra large, but that's just who I am. Okay, and so now, please find the files in the folder above. And then I'm going to attach that preview. So we're just going to go here. We're going to go here. Here's the preview. Hit open. And I think she'll get the point. I don't need to explain that that is what it's going to look like in those three ways. So that's what it'll look like on navy, against white, and against black. Hey, thanks for shopping with Crystal ETF, and thanks for being a part of this community. And thanks for, buying your transfers from Crystal ETF and actually, contributing to this type of education that we're able to put out and the free tools that we're able to give away. Have a great day and enjoy pressing those transfers. Bye-bye.